Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the channel. It is 6:44 a.m. East Coast time. We just did the WNBA video for the showdown slate that starts at 1 p.m. Eastern time today, so go check that out. But if you want to play some all-star game, I have some information for you, the showdown slate. Why am I covering this, Sal? Why are you such a degenerate? I'm not a degenerate. I'm probably not playing this, but I know a lot of people are going to be looking for content today, so ding ding, it's a pretty good idea to provide that content since not many people will. There's a $50,000 prize pool to first for a showdown slate. That's pretty much tough to really win on your own, but MLB, it's really easy to be different in my opinion because, at least for the All-Star game, there's a lot of players who probably will get 1 at-bat to 2 at-bats off the bench today, and not a lot of people will own them, and you'll just be the person who, yes, has complete luck and does that. But I want to provide some information around optimal ways to play this, around just baselining you for the idea of, oh, I can just play the starters and do well. No. Oh, I can just play the starting pitcher, the second pitcher, and do well. No. There's some information that I want to provide. So before we do this, if you could hit the like button. Not sure how good this video will get in terms of reach. Not sure if people are going to be really interested in playing DFS for this. There is a decent prize pool, so maybe. There was interest in the NBA for sure, the NFL for sure, their All-Star games. So for the people that are watching this, 49% of the people, as of 2 days ago when I looked, that are watching my videos, as a truck passes by, unbelievable, that was so loud, 49% 2 days ago, people watching my videos over the last 90 days, that's over 100,000 views, have not been subscribed. I know for a damn fact that the far majority of those 49% are returning viewers. That's just the way it is. So if you're somebody who's tuning into my videos often, or at least more than once at this point, and you're getting value and you're not subscribed yet, which is a free thing to do, I ask you, please subscribe. It's rude not to at this point. I'm providing free content, and the only thing I want is just a +1 pretty much, so that more people, I grow a following, more people get to see me, and we continue to get to grow this thing, and you continue to get free content. So makes no sense not to at this point. Takes 2 seconds. If you're hitting the red button, it says sign in to Google, and you really don't want to take those extra 5 seconds to sign in for this content, I really don't know what you're doing then. So that's where I'm at right now. Please hit the subscribe button. It helps me out. And yeah, this showdown slate, I've looked into it. Look, MLB showdown for the most part is a crapshoot. Literally, you're guessing who hits the home run in the game, who has the RBI double in the game. It's a little bit different for the All-Star game because nobody's guaranteed anything. Nobody's guaranteed at bats. Look, I went back and I looked at some of the past All-Star games. The most recent All-Star game in terms of plate appearances, in terms of innings pitched for starters, and pretty much what you're getting is the openers, the starting pitchers for the All-Star games, they'll get 2 innings. That's it. They'll go 2 innings. Nobody else will touch 2 innings. Last year, the game went to 10 innings, so you're going to see some guys get to an inning and a third, or an inning and or an inning and 2/3. That usually doesn't happen. What you get is the openers and the starters pitching 2 innings out there, and then guys coming in for 1 inning at a time. You're not getting anything fantasy point-wise from those guys coming in for 1 inning. So in terms of pitchers, even if they strike out the side, even if a guy comes in and strikes out the side, maybe that's where you get some kind of leverage. They score you 7 points, and they're dirt cheap because they're not a starting pitcher. Because the pitchers in this, and they're priced like it, are not expensive, right? Verlander is $5,400. We have it right here. Garrett Cole is $5,200. His teammate. Ryu, and Verlander are the openers, the starters for this game. So what does that do in my opinion? It makes pitching pretty much irrelevant, and I'll explain why. So Verlander at $5,400, he'll go 2 innings today. I like a lot of the National League bats because Verlander is opening. It's as simple as that. If Giolito was opening, I wouldn't like the National League bats. Why? Well, because Verlander gives up power to both sides of the plate. A lot of it. He gives up 1.85 home runs per 9. That's too much. He does give up some sorts of walks, close to 6%. But we're not looking at that. We're looking at the idea that for hitters in the All-Star games, the 1 and 2 hitters are the only guys who usually see 3 at-bats in a game. For the starters, right? You might get a pinch hitter who sees 3. Last year, a lot of pinch hitters saw 3 at-bats, 3 for each team, but a big part of that was the game went to extra innings. You got the extra at-bat in the bottom of the 9th, and then obviously the whole 10th inning of bats. So for the most part, pinch hitters will see 1 to 2 at-bats. Your starters usually see about 2 at-bats unless you're a leadoff or a number 2 hitter, right? Those guys will see their 3rd at-bats because then the pinch hitters start coming in. So for Verlander, he's going to be going up against today Christian Yelich leading off. I don't know how you don't love Christian Yelich today. When you're just talking about opportunities, it's baseball. Christian Yelich very well will go 0 for 2 or 0 for 3 today and do nothing for you. But for a guy who's leading off, and that gives you more upside in terms of him getting 3 at-bats. Last year, both the leadoff hitters got 3 at-bats. Out of the starters last year, only 3 players got 3 at-bats. Javi Baez led off. He got 3 at-bats. And then Betts led off. Mookie Betts, he got 3 at-bats. And Altuve batted second and got 3 at-bats. Outside of that, no starters saw 3 at-bats. There's a lot of 2s. There's some pinch hitters who saw 3 due to the extra innings, like we said. So Yelich is kind of giving himself, and when you go back and look at previous All-Star games, the leadoff hitters were the ones who more frequently saw 3 at-bats. It makes sense. So with Yelich leading off and has, unlimited power, the best power hitter in the game at the All-Star break right now, going up against a pitcher who gives up a 207 ISO to lefties, yeah, I like that. I like the fact that I probably get a built-in extra at-bat more times than not that with Yelich, the home run leader right now, against a pitcher who he'll see at least one time who gives up home runs. And then the guy that comes in after him, if it is Garrett Cole, is the guy who gives up more power to lefties at 1.77, 177 ISO to lefties, right? If you get Lucas Giolito in the game, and then from there on out in terms of who comes into the game, it gets a little bit more difficult. But overall, the all-star pitchers for the American League that will be facing the National League today, they give up power to lefties more so than they give up power to righties. You have, like we said, Verlander, Garrett Cole. Lucas Giolito is the exception. He gives up power really to no side of the plate, but more so to lefties than the right side. But then if you keep going down, you'll have a guy in Shane Bieber who gives up a lot of power to lefties overall. And just continuing to go down, Masahiro Tanaka gets crushed by lefties. Now, I don't think Yelich will be in the game that long, but this is just the idea of, depending on who comes in after Verlander, probably Garrett Cole, he gives up power. Maybe it's Shane Bieber. Maybe it is Tanaka. Maybe it's Castillo. All these guys give up more power to lefties than they do to righties. So Christian Yelich, it's probably not surprising. He's expensive, but he'll be batting first today. He'll have a good platoon advantage, pretty much depending on who he faces in his 2 to 3 at-bats. Should be Verlander for one of them, probably Garrett Cole for one of them. And then if he sees a third at-bat, it could most likely be a guy who has a lot of trouble against lefties in a Shane Bieber or a Masahiro Tanaka. Going from that same concept, I like Freddie Freeman batting third. So like we said, kind of the 1 and 2 hitters are the guys to target. I want to target the 1 and 2 hitters more than really anybody else today, just because I think that they'll get built in, especially the leadoff hitters, they'll get built in a third at bat. And that's just so valuable on a slate where most players are only going to get 1 to 2 at bats. If you can get a guy getting a third at bat, there's so much upside. The guy hits a double in that third at bat, gets you 5 points. That's pretty much going to skyrocket you in any showdown rankings on a slate where all the pitchers are fantastic, so the hits are going to be at a premium. All the batters are fantastic, so the strikeouts are going to be at a premium, unless you're Aaron Judge today, but I don't think he's playing, so you're good to go. So yeah, leadoff hitters are the things that I kind of prioritize the most today. The number 2 and 3 hitters, obviously, still at the top of the order, should be getting 2 to 3 at-bats more so than anybody else. So Freddie Freeman, in terms of his power from the left-handed side of the plate, he should be getting 2 at-bats. Probably sees Justin Verlander and Garrett Cole. Again, both of them struggle with giving up power to lefties today. So lots of power there for Freddie Freeman. I like the fact that Freeman and Josh Bell are starting, 2 guys that are fighting with each other to get into this game. They're both starting today. Josh Bell is another guy that I have in here as an option. I think he only sees 2 at-bats at most today in this All-Star game, but he's batting 6th, so those 2 at-bats I feel more comfortable with than a guy batting 8th in the lineup. He's batting 6th, and he has just unlimited power. And again, he's lefty or righty, so no matter who he's in the game against as a switch hitter, he will have sort of a platoon advantage because he'll get to kind of target their weaker side. So Josh Bell, Freddie Freeman, and Christian Yelich are guys that I have interested in. Javi Baez, I believe, is batting 2nd to start the game. He's the other guy who should see, next to Yelich, the best opportunity to see at 3 at-bats today from the NL side. We're just seeing over my shoulders just all the pitchers' stats for the game. And like I said, for the most part, your pitchers don't matter. If for some reason a guy goes in there today and pitches an inning and a third or an inning and 2/3 and gets 5 strikeouts and he's got 12 fantasy points, so be it. So be it. You're not going to guess that. There's no reason to try and guess that, who he's coming in against in the lineup. He's facing the best hitters in baseball. So for the most part, pitching is out of the question for me. Here's the other thing. Max Scherzer is not starting for the National League. Max Scherzer, I don't even know if he's in the player pool. I think he stepped out for this game. So when you have Ryu starting for the National League, a guy whose strikeout percentage is 23.9%, I don't feel that compelled. For a guy who's going to go 2 innings, and if he strikes out 1 to 2 batters, he's going to score you like 7 fantasy points, right? No option to try and get the win there because he's not going to go 5 innings. So no interest in Ryu. No interest really in Verlander because of what I just previously stated, the fact that he gives up a lot of power, and there's clearly the best power hitters in the game are going to be starting in this NL lineup in the All-Star game. Surprise, surprise. And then after that, all the pitchers are going to pretty much average out to pitching 1 inning, and even if they strike out the side in that 1 inning, you're looking at not enough fantasy points most likely. So I have no interest in pitchers today. It's going to be a lineup built around bats. The 1 hitters will be guys that I prioritize. And then just finding sneaky guys to kind of get into the game. Like a guy like Austin Meadows today is $4,200. Pretty much every baseball player will get into the game. Now, it's always a risk. Austin Meadows cannot get into the game and you get a 0 in your lineup. But you'll probably get a 0 in your lineup from 1 to 2 other guys anyways who go 0 for 2 in this game against really good pitching, or who go 0 for 1 with a walk and score 2 points. So I have no problem playing the guys hoping that they pinch hit and see 2 at-bats. if Austin Meadows or whoever else might be down there, Glaber Torres, these guys who are going to be coming off the bench for dirt cheap, most likely see 2 at-bats today when they pinch hit in the 5th inning or whatever it is. They're going to see just as many at-bats against worse pitching. So I'm very much convicted around 2 things today for this All-Star game in terms of trying to find an edge. The leadoff hitters for the team, because they're the best players in the game, right, for each side. The leadoff hitters and the number 2 hitters, so your Javi Baez's, your Christian Yelich's, for the NL. And let me see who the leadoff hitters are for the AL, because I do forget now. And then George Springer, so loaded with power, and DJ LeMahieu, the 1 and 2 hitters, and a conviction around those 2 guys on each side, because they're the most likely, especially the leadoff hitters, to see those 3 at-bats. And then after that, it's pinch hitters. I have a lot of interest in pinch hitters. So like I said, your Glaber Torres, your Whit Merrifield, whoever it might be that are going to be pinch hitting, Austin Meadows, that's all the AL type guys. Whoever it is that's pinch hitting probably sees the same amount of at-bats as the 3 through 9 hitters that start, right? Especially backup catchers, because they're the only other catcher on their roster. So that's kind of another edge. They'll be cheap. The backup catchers will be cheap, and they'll probably see 2 at-bats, the same amount of at-bats as the starting catcher. So that all said, those pinch hitters, if you think about it, they're not going to have to go up against the best, the most top pitchers in the league. Now, it's obviously the All-Star game, so they're facing great pitchers. But, I mean, John Means was an honorable mention. That's why he's here, because he was on Baltimore, and they have to take a player from each team. So going up against John Means for 2 of your at-bats compared to going up against Justin Verlander and Garrett Cole is a big difference. Am I right? I mean, it's a huge difference. Or going up against, I don't know, a Shane Green, who's a reliever and might come in for an inning and is not that great, is a big difference. Sandy Alcantara, he's just Miami's honorable mention, because Miami is garbage. Doesn't strike anybody out. A 5.57 Sierra. Like, these are the guys that I want to target with my pinch hitters, these terrible pitchers who will probably get into the game and not have much upside. So I'm all about getting the leadoff hitters today. I'm all about seeing if you can get to the number 2 hitters. But then for me, a big piece of it is just targeting pinch hitters. If they don't come into the game and they get 0 points, so be it. There's a great chance other guys that are playing for 2 to 3 to 4 innings get 0 points as well. If they come to the game and get 1 at bat and hit a double, I love it. I love the 5 points potential upside to score a run. That's where I'm at. So my strategy for those of you watching this today is target leadoff hitters. To a lesser extent, target the number 2 batters in the order. Fade all pitching. There's just no upside of pitching. The best thing you're going to get is Verlander to come in for 2 innings and strike out like 3 to 4 guys, because like he does in all the All-Star games, he empties the tank on his fastball. But that could also lead to a flat fastball for guys like Yelich, Freddie Freeman, like we talked about, Josh Bell later in the order. Josh Bell is probably the only player that I'm willing to play past like the 4-hitter in a lineup, because past that, nobody's really guaranteed more than 2 at-bats. Josh Bell, though, has just this unlimited power, and he has the platoon advantage, like I said, from both sides of the plate. Outside of that, pinch hitters. So that's it. Pinch hitters, no pitchers, 1 and 2 batters in the lineup, and then Josh Bell. So, yeah, that's where my interests lie. Don't go playing Josh Bell now and come back and say, oh, he went 0 for 2 and he struck out twice. Yeah, no crap. He's placing the best pitchers in the game. I'm just telling you a guy who's undervalued for his skill set. He's like the 12th or 15th most expensive guy, batting 6th today for the starters, and he has power from both sides of the plate. So no matter what, he'll never be at an extreme disadvantage like some of the other batters today. That's where I'm at. It's a quick rundown. That's the strategy that I have for you based on some of the historical data and based on things that just make sense to me. Play pinch hitters because they'll be facing worse pitchers like Sandy Alcantara and John Means and Will Smith and these types of guys who are just in there due to honorable mentions from their teams and really don't have much upside. So that's where I'm at. Hope this helps. And again, if you watch this video and now you have watched one of my videos because you just discovered me, hit the red subscribe button. It takes 2 seconds. I'm sure that this was a somewhat valuable video to you, or one of my other ones have been if you're still watching. Takes 2 seconds to hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button if you want. I really don't care too much about the like button. The subscribe button is the thing that means the most. Grow this following. Helps me out a ton. So thank you guys. Thank you girls so much. Enjoy the All-Star game tonight. Maybe one of you, if you do, bink $50,000. If you bink $5,000. If you bink $500. If you bink 5, let me know in the comments or on Twitter @SalVetriDFS. Patreon. It's not going to be an article up today, but if you want some of my rankings and projections and things like that for WNBA and MLB, it's linked down below to Patreon. So peace out, gang.